Yo, what is going on? How is everybody doing today? Welcome to the Risen Fallen podcast. I am your host, Mark Hendrickson. If you're brand new to this show, then what you can expect is open and authentic conversations about things like mental health, self-development, and how to get your life moving in the right direction if you're not feeling good about where you are right now. At least having the confidence knowing that you're moving one step closer, 1% better every single day. And, maybe sometimes you'll listen to an episode and you'll just kind of think to yourself, wow, man, I've thought that before. I've felt that before. I just never put it into words. I never told anybody. I never, said anything about it, or I never even really understood it myself because I just never really, and that's the feeling I really do chase, to be honest with you, when it comes to this podcast, because that was the thing that really, excuse me, it's kind of allergy season here, but, that was the thing that, I would listen to podcasts and I would really, really enjoy them when things would resonate with me for that reason. And so hope that everybody is doing well today. Like I said, happy Monday. Last few weeks, we've been doing a little bit more of the guest heavy episodes. And so this weekend, I just kind of wanted to I'd not really plan anything and just kind of chill out and record and just chat and get out what I've been meaning to get out. I've it's a weird thing, that as life goes on, as life progresses, as life, we're in such a weird world at such a weird time, especially, and I'm sure that every single person feels that way, like I'm sure my grandpa felt that way. I'm sure, parents, I'm sure people in the 70s and 60s felt that way with, everything going on then. I feel like obviously people in the 30s and 40s, probably felt that exact same thing as well back then. If you look back at the last 100 years, if you were born at any time, you're probably like, yo, this is a weird time. What a weird world, or what a weird time. And I feel like everybody relates to that, man. And that's just one of the things that, as life goes on, I get to that age. I'm 30 years old now, where people are like, they're either having kids or they're feeling like I can't afford it. I don't really want to bring kids into a world like this. And it's like, don't you think that every single generation of your entire family felt that way? Don't you think that they all kind of looked at the world and thought, man, this is pretty weird. This is pretty dangerous. Maybe this is pretty it's such a crazy world. It's such a crazy economy. Why don't, why bring a kid into a world like this? And I think that it's because, kids are like one of the most purest forms of love. And, I think that love is part of the reason why we're here. And so, it's a pretty cool thing. Anyways, that's not what I wanted to talk about today, but that's just, and especially in today's economy, I will say I know this is not meant to be a political podcast. It does get political sometimes, but isn't it funny how Mark Carney, Prime Minister of Canada, I think they get rid of like diesel and fuel tax this week or last week or when by the time this is out. And it's like, they're obviously why would they do that? Okay, well, they're obviously doing it because it's good for the average citizen. It's good for the average consumer to be able to have more money, to be able to afford more things. And they go, okay, well, this is something that's, it's gonna help the average person if we reduce this tax. And if you just like take that idea, and this is just a little fun thought experiment for people. Take that idea to its logical conclusion. If you're in support of that, which I definitely am, I love the idea. We should reduce taxes. If you're in support of that idea, then the understanding is it's good for the average person, the average citizen of Canada, if we reduce taxes. Meaning, it's better for you to keep your money because you'll use it on things you actually need rather than just give it to someone who's going to launder it through a charity or do some scandals like that. And so the idea is they understand, they know reducing taxes helps the average person. And so with that logical conclusion, if they wanted to help us, why stop at reducing it? Why not just get rid of it? If it's actually better for you to keep the money, if it's going to benefit you and they know it because they're doing it, hey, we need to help people out. Let's reduce the taxes. Doesn't that kind of tell you the whole thing? Doesn't that kind of give up the whole thing? Interesting. That's my little political rant for the week. Come back next week for some more news. Maybe I'll put a screenshot of the news thing that I saw earlier this week. It really just did get me thinking. It's like, wait, you're admitting that it's better for us to keep the money? You'll reduce it to help us, but why not just get rid of it? Why wouldn't you just get rid of it if it's better for us to have the money? Weird logical thing there. It's an interesting kind of whatever. Anyway, so how is everybody doing today? We're gonna get rocking and rolling into this episode. That was just my economic, political kind of rant for the morning. It is morning time here. It's Monday when this drops. I think the 20th. Oh yeah, it's 420. Happy 420. But happy birthday. Whose birthday was it today? No, I'm just joking. I think it's Gollum's birthday. The guy that voices Gollum, Andy Serkis. I'm listening to the Lord of the Rings audiobooks right now. But all right. So happy 420. I forgot that it was 420 today as I record this. It's actually April 18th. It's Saturday morning as I record this. I'm just chilling out. Anyways, so earlier this week, a buddy of mine texts me or calls me, or I think I called him. And we're just chatting away. I think I was doing some work and I was just like, whatever. And we're just chatting away. And he's kind of talking to me about something that I feel like so many people relate to. And I relate to all the time. I think that literally as I say this is going to be one of those things where people are just like kind of listening to it and they're like, yes. And so one of these things, I'm talking to my buddy and we're talking about a couple different things in life. And I've kind of just made this joke a lot recently where I'm talking to my fiance and where she's like, can you do this for me? Or can you do this around the house or whatever? And I'm like, yo, I just feel like life is just constantly like I'm just doing more fucking chores, more things all the time. And I'm just obviously joking around because it is true. That's what life is just doing things until you sleep and then waking up and doing more things until you sleep. And that's literally what more could you, it's the definition of living. And so, my buddy calls me and he's like talking to me about how, he's a young guy. He's the same age as me. He's got a couple kids. He's got a wife. He's got a business, blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, dude, going through this time of our lives, it is, in the long and short of it, what we basically talked about is the fact that you're always going to be basically like, as life goes on, you're going to be spinning more and more plates. Like literally picture one of those things, the guys that spin plates or whatever, and there's kind of two things. You get the choice of just kind of like continuously spinning the plates that you have and getting better at those, or adding more plates. And, I've met so many people in life that, I can think of like a particular few right off the top of my head that, continuously they're just adding more and more and more and more and more things to their life, stress to their life. These are the type of people that constantly think that, and I'm not saying this is my friend, I'm just saying this is a type of person, where the type of person that thinks that, if you add something to yourself, if you add something to your life, if you go to a new place, if you move to a new thing, if you go, then that will fix the problem in your life. That will make you happy. That's the missing puzzle piece. It's like a nutrient that you're deficient in. You're like, oh, I have this. If I just get this, It'll fix, you know? And so they're just constantly adding and adding and adding and adding and adding to their life. Maybe a new relationship, a new job, moving, a new dog, a new goldfish, a new computer, a new dress, a new suit, a new car, a new, they're just always, 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 yo, I got this new thing. Yo, I can't wait to get this new thing. And once I get this new thing, and so they're just always, and then they're also wondering why they're always anxious, why they're always stressed. And that's where I got that kind of analogy of like spinning plates, because I literally picture it the exact same way. Like every time you get something in life, every time whether it's a new skill, a new thing, a new whatever, relationship, you are like everything in life takes maintenance. And so you're literally taking like a part of your time, a part of your money, a part of your life force, a part of your energy, a part of your attention span, your bandwidth, mental bandwidth, and you're designating it to a new thing. And so it's kind of like spinning plates. It's like if you're stressed out with 2 plates, dude, you shouldn't be adding 3, 4, 5 more, right? That's kind of just the way that I think about it. And so there is this kind of idea that we're just constantly adding more and more things to life to balance. And and it is like kind of one of those things where you have to ask yourself, am I spinning too many plates? Can I improve, my plate spinning maybe so that I can spin these plates with less attention, less bandwidth? There's a lot of things now that you maybe do in your life that are on autopilot. You kind of can do them without thinking about it, without too much brain energy. Your body can just do it, and you can maybe like listen to a podcast while you do it, or listen to an audiobook while you do it, or hold a conversation while you do it. But at one point in your life, when you were trying to do that thing, you didn't have to commit as much brain energy to it, or as much of your bandwidth to, or you had to commit more. I mean, right? So when you first started out, it's one of those things that I think about this with like painting at work. When I first started out painting, it took so much focus when I was cutting in ceilings or, corners on a wall or around something. I'd like literally have to hold my breath, and I'd be like, and I'd be so stressed and so anxious, like my heart would race. And now it's like one of those things where like I could be on the phone with a buddy at work. I could be like, listening to a podcast. I could be listening to an audiobook, talking to the homeowner, it's one of those things that I can just kind of do on autopilot. And some of the things in life are kind of like that, where you can just maintain it on autopilot. A lot of fitness is like that. If you just stay with a routine, like you'll stay reasonably in shape if you just like consistently do, something that it could be completely on autopilot. You go for runs, you go for bike rides, you do a weightlifting routine for long enough, you don't really have to think about it, and you'll stay in like pretty reasonable shape. Like nutrition's the exact same way. Meal prep's the exact same way for me. Like I don't have to think about it while I do it. Same with dishes. But at one point in your life, when you're doing laundry or when you're doing dishes, you actually do have to focus on it. You actually, and maybe that's something that you forget because it was so long ago. But, this is the exact same thing about adding things to our lives. Until we actually get comfortable with what we have going on in life, then we're adding to our life from a sense of, comfort, like stability and happiness, as opposed to just grasping at straws because, we don't feel good and we're looking for the next fix. The other thing is, sorry, I had to sneak in a little sip there. Um, So this idea that, responsibility, like it always sounds good until we actually feel the weight of it, when oh, I can't pay for this. I can't afford this because I have this to pay for. And it's like, why did you add all of those things to your life? Um, the other thing is there's like this like kind of like myth of being like that will one day just like we'll feel like we're balanced, like this yearning for like a day in the future where it's like, oh, once my debt's paid off, once I have this body that I want, once I have this new position at work, once I have maybe if I can get in a good relationship, I need a boyfriend or a girlfriend to care about me. I need this. There's always like this like idea, this myth that we tell ourselves that, when this happens, then I'll feel balanced, I'll feel good, I'll feel happy. And this idea that, at some point in our life, we're just gonna like feel good. And really, it's like one of those things where I see this reel all the time. It comes up in my Instagram. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but it's like relays, like it'll always be like kind of like either a guy or a girl, whatever, on Instagram doing shit, doing chores. And they're like realizing I don't have to do it this way. And they're kind of just like frantically running around their house. And they're just kind of like chucking their laundry into the laundry machine and throwing dishes into the dishwasher. And then you kind of see them just like take a breath and like their shoulders drop a little bit. And then they're just kind of like moving a little bit slower, acting a little bit more mindful. And this is kind of like this idea that I've been thinking about recently where you kind of have to choose the way that you want to live your life, because there is never going to be a point where you're like, yep, this is perfect. This is like, we're in perfect balance now. I can just like kind of take a breath and chill and relax. Like there's never going to be that point in your life until you create it for yourself. You have to actually make the choice. Like, I'm going to break this habitual pattern of being stressed out and anxious and in a rush and in a hurry, because a lot of the time with that, it's made up pressure for starters, or it's a response to pressure that's kind of like it's something that we've taken on, but we won't admit it to ourselves, or we won't take responsibility or even get ourselves moving in the right direction with it. A lot of the time I this thing where we're kind of like we're gonna have things in life that are gonna be stressing us out all the time. Like you're always gonna be the bad guy to somebody. And what I mean by that is, if you stay late at work, you get more money. Your boss is happier with you. You can pay off some bills. You can take your girl out. But you're choosing to satisfy your financial health, your boss, your coworkers, whatever, the people that rely on you. Your family's gonna miss you. If you're a father, if you're a husband, if you're a wife, if you're a mother, if you're a whatever, like your family's gonna miss you if you're at work. They're gonna want to spend time with you and love you. If you're like in a good functional, everything's going well, right? Even if it's not, they still love you. And if you leave work early, then you're gonna be not making as much money. Your boss is gonna be a little bit less happy. Your customers, maybe your coworkers, but your family's gonna be happy, right? And so like you're always going to be the bad guy to somebody. If you're at work enough, your family's gonna be missing you. If you're spending enough time with your family, your finances are gonna be struggling. If you're or whatever it is, right? And I'm not saying that it's like you know, uh, a guaranteed thing, like nobody's got it figured out. But quite a few people have it figured out, because a lot of people are, like I said, stuck in the cycle of before, like constantly trying to please everybody, make everybody happy, spin as many plates as they possibly can. When I don't think life is about spinning as many plates as you possibly can. It's spinning as many plates as you possibly can really well, like going and making sure that the plates are spinning well. You're not having to stress about it. You're not having to be anxious about it. Just slowly, incrementally increasing all the time. You're not jumping from one plate to 10 plates. You're going one plate. What if I can spin the one plate with my left hand? What if I could do it, for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? Okay. Once I master that, like maybe let's see if I could do it sitting down and stand up at the same time, or whatever. Like start to just challenge yourself a little bit more. All of these things, master the one plate before we start to add in a second plate. And I think that that really is like one of those things that you really have to think about is A, not to add too much, not to add too many plates to your plate, but to also understand that there is going to be like you're always going to be the bad guy to somebody, you know? And it's the exact same thing about raising kids or, you know, um being a boss or like I mean like managing a like a team or whatever it is, like you're always gonna be the bad guy. There's always gonna be, if you discipline someone too much, it's like, yeah, I'm the bad guy now, but eventually you'll see benefits from this, and I just have to like hope that you'll still see me as a good guy, or you don't discipline somebody and then right now they feel good, they feel fine, but eventually you become the bad guy because you enable bad behavior, bad practices, bad habits, etc. And so you're always going to be the bad guy at some point. And so understand that if you have a rooted enough identity, it's rooted, it's a good foundation. You're like, I know I'm not the bad guy. I'm doing this out of love. I'm doing, not to completely enable and what's the word, vindicate all the what do you call that word, narcissists out there, not to, it's not like a complete like ignorant, just, oh, I'm gonna be the bad guy to everybody, so I'm gonna do whatever I want all the time and fuck other people. No, it's not like one of those things, but it is just understanding that like eventually, you're not going to be able to please everybody all the time. And so you have to be very mindful of who you're actually serving, who you're actually pleasing, who you're actually like kind of looking to satisfy in life. Be mindful of that and how you're going to act accordingly. And so just kind of because when you get to one of those places where you're just feeling overwhelmed, overstimulated, anxious, stressed all the time, you don't even get to enjoy the hobbies anymore that you have in life. You don't get to take care of yourself. You're not doing any fitness like related things. You're eating worse. You're stressed out. You're fucking throwing dishes. You're having temper tantrums. You're yelling at your partner, whatever it is. Your hobbies stop feeling good. That's when we need to be a little bit more mindful. And a lot of the times it's like, I remember a point in my life where I'm talking to one of my buddies and they're like, I kind of feel guilty. I feel bad, like just kind of like chilling out and playing video games for hours on end. And I was like, yeah, like, dude, you're not supposed to do that, right? Like, you're not supposed to just do it for hours and hours and hours and hours and on end. When you think about hobbies, we'll call video games a hobby, right? There's tons of different types of hobbies. You could do a sport. You could do a video game. You could do pick up an instrument. You could learn a language. There's all these different ideas of like woodworking, etc. And when it comes to hobbies, you have to think about what purpose is this serving, and most of them are a way to take all the stresses in life and present you with something that can not distract you, but enable your brain to just kind of shut that part off for a little bit. It's like, hey, we need to rest. It's the same thing with like work. If working all the time and making money was so beneficial, then we would just all do it 24 hours a day. But it's like at some point you need to rest, right? And so your brain's the exact same way. It's nice to rest certain parts of your brain sometimes. And so this idea of, oh, I'm going to take a Pilates class, a yoga class, jujitsu class, I'm going to play a video game, I'm going to read a book, I'm going to watch a documentary, I'm going to do this, is to commit to yourself like, hey, I'm going to just disconnect for a little bit. I'm going to chill out. And there's certain things that you're going to do that, everything has its own like macro and micro cost benefit analysis, right? And so it's like, well, if you work a super active job, you're moving all the time, and then you pick a way to disconnect your brain from stress, and that's also very super active. And then you're just compounding all this stress and toll on your body. Obviously, it is beneficial to push yourself physically, and that can make you stronger. But if you do that 24 hours a day for and like just like consistently doing that, then eventually parts of your body, maybe not your whole body, but parts of your body are going to need some rest. Whether it's your organs, your muscles, your joints, your whatever it is, your knees, your ankles, your shoulders, or your brain is just stuck in that cycle. I don't know exactly, with that adrenal cycle of like, constantly needing to recover. I can't remember exactly what that's called, but there's a cost benefit to every single thing that we do. And so sometimes it is beneficial. That's the point I'm trying to get across. Sometimes it is beneficial to be able to sit down for a half hour, maybe an hour, and just throw on a video game, throw on a movie, whatever it is. But you're not supposed to do it for hours on end. It's supposed to just be like a short little period for your brain to rest and then get back to it. And so thinking about the purpose of why we do what we do, when we do it, and just being a bit more present with that, being a little bit more mindful of that. And I think that those two themes, though I can't make a concrete connection yet verbally about it, those two themes go hand in hand. This idea that, you know, um, if we were all that guy with the like spinning plates, of course it's going to be stressful. Of course it's going to be, so you kind of have to be mindful of how many plates you're spinning, how you're spinning them, and the mastery of spinning the plate before adding more plates, and understanding this is going to be a stressful thing. This is going to be something that makes me anxious, but am I going to let that, raise my heart rate, take my breath away, make me hold my breath? And, am I gonna let it stress me out? Am I gonna let it change the way I behave? Am I gonna let it change the way I show up in the world? You know, am I gonna live a stressed out, anxious, frantic life? Or am I gonna choose to, no matter what life throws at me, no matter how I'm challenged, am I gonna keep breathing and keep moving at my pace and just understand, you know, you don't control the world, you control how you react to it. As cliche as that sounds, as many times as I've said it, it is a reality of life. You do not control this world, you only control how you react to it. And on that note, I think that's a beautiful place to wrap this up. I will catch you guys next Monday. Much love. Peace out. Bye.